everyone, and welcome back to the Real Positive Girl podcast. My name is Sabrina. Happy Monday to you all. I hope that you're having a great start to your day, whether your day is just beginning, in the middle, or towards the end. I hope that it is absolutely fantastic. I hope that you had a great weekend and that you had rest, relaxation, but productivity and positive memories and experiences and just a good old time. I hope it was really good. I always encourage everyone that's having a really hard day to do the 5-minute reset. So if that's you, I encourage you to take at least 5 minutes to be by yourself. It gives you the opportunity to reset, reboot, restart, come back to baseline, and just take a break from any problems, issues, or troubles or burdens that you've been carrying around that have been causing you stress and feeling overwhelmed and just put your emotions in a tizzy. I totally get it. But yeah, it allows you to take a break. It also allows you to do some problem solving if there are issues and things that you need to resolve with other people so that you're able to come back with a resolution and move on from that problem, hopefully quicker. But yeah, take a break. And I also encourage everyone to create a list of at least 4 things that you are grateful for. That can be really big things, really small things, medium-sized things. Maybe you're grateful that you're able to get to bed early, or maybe you're grateful that you're able to have drinks with some friends this weekend. Maybe you're grateful that it finally rained and you've really needed rain where you lived, and it's just a nice, cozy, cloudy day for you to stay inside and get some chores done, or get some reading done, or take a nap, or do whatever you want to do, watch movies. It doesn't matter. Or maybe you're just grateful that you're able to chit-chat with a friend on the phone over the weekend and get caught up on everything that is happening. It doesn't matter. The amazing thing about it is that you have a never-ending list of things you can be grateful for, because you can be grateful for virtually everything. So create your list of at least 4 things, and then before you end your 5-minute reset, make sure that you're feeling at least neutral, if not positive, about the rest of the day, because despite what you're going through, you are having so many blessings still happen to you, obviously based on the quick 4-item gratitude list that you created. But I'm not here to diminish your problems or any issues that you are currently going through, but I want you to realize that it'll be a lot easier to navigate through those hard and tough and negative things if you do focus more and hone in on those positive, grateful, amazing, thankful things that are happening in your life. But I do truly hope that you are having a good, awesome, amazing day today. This week on the podcast that we are talking about, for our topic of the week, we are talking about top 10 questions to ask yourself regularly. I thought it'd be really fun to do a top 10 list of questions that I just thought would be really helpful for you to dive into, to ask yourself, to journal about if you're about that, just to think about in your free time. I don't think that we take enough time to really reflect and do a lot of deep thinking. Now, maybe you do this on the regular, and if you do, I applaud you. That's amazing. I don't even do this on the regular. I have lists and lists of questions that I want to blog about, that I want to write about and journal about and ask myself about, and sometimes I do here and there, but I just thought I would wrangle up a list of the top 10 questions that I thought were super important for you to ask yourself. And you know, it's going to be great. I think it'll be a really good, fun experience. So today, on Monday, we're going to go over the questions. And just so you know how the format's going to go. So I'm talking about 10 questions for the whole week. And since we have 5 episodes every single week, I will be talking about 2 questions every single day. And today, Monday, we're going to be talking about the questions, what am I afraid to do? And how would your life change if you were confident? So let's go ahead and just jump right in. This week, we are going to talk about questions I identified as being extremely important for personal development and mental strength. And again, I think it's super important to ask yourself these questions. Even if you didn't necessarily want to ask yourself 2 questions in one day, maybe you just wanted to ask yourself 1 question every single day, just part of your meditation, quiet time, prayer time, gratitude time, taking the bus, driving in the car to work, whatever time. If you're able just to take at least 5 or 10 minutes to really think through these questions, I feel like it'll help you become stronger on the other side and just become a better, be your better self, and also maybe realize some new things about you and where your train of thought has been, and whether you need to open up yourself a little bit more to try harder or be able to push forward in a different way for your goals. You never know what could come out of it by just, asking yourself certain questions. So Each day, I'm going to identify questions that I think are related and helpful for deep thoughts, mental thinking, and clarity, and to help you continue to become your best self. Because that's all I talk about here is becoming your best self and becoming stronger mentally and having a very good mindset shift in what you normally think about into a different way to think about things, and continually doing that as you grow older and get more knowledge and become stronger and better and higher and closer to your goals. And even after that, there is no end to learning and becoming your best self. That's what I truly believe. That is what I truly believe. And the first question for today is, what am I afraid to do? I just thought this was such a good question, and ask yourself what it is you have been putting off, what has struck fear for you, and what have you been putting off trying or pushing yourself to do? Isn't it such a good question? And isn't it such a question that you do not want to ask yourself because you might be afraid of the answer? You might not want to actually be truthful and honest with yourself on what the answer is. So, what am I afraid to do? And if I were to ask myself that question, which I need to ask myself that question, I would say on a weekly basis, because I feel like it will really help me come outside of my comfort zone, make me stronger, make me more focused on what I want to do and what I need to be doing to do that, as opposed to just being comfortable, being comfy, being stagnant in what I'm currently doing. But what am I afraid to do? I am afraid to get out there and share my heart even more about mental health and overcoming anxiety and stress and panic attacks and depression and suicidal ideation and, physical mutilation and that kind of stuff. I want to not be afraid of that. And that's what I'm afraid to do. I'm afraid to get out there and really speak forward about that because I'm afraid of what it's going to do with the relationships that I have. But I'm also afraid to go out there and be more body confident about who I am, because I am not skinny by any means. I definitely have been working out more and trying to be more on top of my nutrition game. It's really tough for me because I just want to eat all the things, but I need to gain more discipline and to get back on top of that. But, I am afraid to really lean in to my curves and who I am in the body that I have and be confident about that. And it's a problem, and it's something that I do want to do, but I'm afraid to do it. And I think by asking yourself those questions and actually being honest with yourself, have those come to Jesus moments with yourself where you're like, okay, like Sabrina or whatever your name is, say it out loud and be like, hey, Sabrina, I need you to be honest with me. I need you to actually say the things that you wouldn't normally say, like in a group of people. Just say it outside just say it out loud to yourself. Write it down in a journal if you want to remember it later, or record it on your phone or whatever you want to do, and just be honest. There's nothing wrong with being honest. And if you're only going to be honest to yourself, then that's fine. Maybe at some point in the future, you will gain the confidence to talk to someone else about those things that you are afraid to do. But if you can at least start with being honest with yourself, you will go so far. I am telling you these things, and I'm trying to be completely transparent with you. I need to do this more as well. And I do find that when I am honest and truthful with myself, I do move forward a lot quicker, a lot better, and realize where I am letting myself just stop and give up. You know what I mean? So I would encourage you to think through it. What am I afraid to do? It's a great question. And the next question is, how would your life change if you were confident? Oh man, it's such a big one. And it definitely is related to the first one of like, what are you afraid to do? But then how would your life change if you were confident? And let's say, before I go into the examples, let's say that you already consider yourself confident, but what if you were confident about everything, and not in an egotistical way, like you're just better than everyone, but more of like you're confident in your body, you're confident in your job, you're confident in the hobbies that you do, you're confident in raising your kids or being in a relationship or being married or, whatever volunteer role you have at church or whatever volunteer role you have at your kids' school or being a really good friend or whatever it may be. What if you were confident in every single part of your life, which I know seems a little far-fetched, but I feel like we could all have a little piece of confidence in every single part of our life. How would your life change if you were? And ask yourself, is there something you would do that you are currently putting off? Would you feel more eager to try new things? Would you worry and stress less about more most things, because if you're confident in mostly everything in your life, you probably would worry less and stress less because you're confident in the way that you do it. And that usually I find that people that are confident are also forgiving of themselves when they make mistakes. When things go wrong, they're like, okay, that's just how it's going to be. I'm going to learn from these mistakes. I'm going to learn from these wrongdoings or whatever, or whatever problems arise, and then move forward and not let those things hold them back, not let those things just like tear everything down and torture them and lead them into a direction where they are nowhere near being able to hit and fulfill their goals and dreams. So I encourage you to really think about it. Like, how would your life change if you were confident? And like, would you be more eager to try new things? Would you just like go out there and be like, okay, well, I'm really confident in my job. Do you want to go out there and see if you can get promoted into another job and then work on that and then become confident in that, continue up the ladder on that? Is that something that you would like to consider? Maybe, I don't know, ask yourself. Or would you feel more eager asking someone out? Let's say that you're single and you're always waiting for someone else to ask you out, but then maybe you feel so confident in who you are and what you're all about, you're like, okay, I'm going to start asking people out. And you understand that you could be rejected, but that's okay. That's all part of the experience, and that's part of the learning curve and the whole thing of dating and relationships. And so would you ask someone out? Maybe you would try that new thing, or maybe you would be more apt to try new foods if you're super, super into like what you like, or maybe you want to try new exercises at the gym, or maybe you want to try a new fitness class altogether, or you want to read a different genre book that you're not used to. It could definitely branch into so many different categories and so many different fields in our life. But I love it. I think out of the two questions, this is probably my favorite one. Like, how would your life change if you were confident? Because I really take a step back and think about, wow, if I were confident in my podcast, I would talk about it more. I would share it with more people. I'm so timid. Or if I were confident in my writing, I would actually write more. If I were confident in my ability to be able to help people and deliver information in a fun and exciting and quick and efficient way, I would do it more, And so that's my problems, and those are my issues, and those are the things that I need to personally work on. And I encourage you to come up with the same kind of list so that you can, again, be honest with yourself, have those come to Jesus moments with yourself, and figure out what you need to work on and how your life could be better by answering these questions and then doing those things, right? What are you currently putting off? How could your life be different if you were confident? It's such a good question. Out of both of those questions is definitely, for sure, my favorite. I encourage you to get into the habit of asking yourself questions like these to push your normal thinking outside the box and help you become even stronger mentally and even more capable than you already are. It's important to really push yourself mentally, physically, emotionally. It helps you to learn to adapt to change, to be more flexible, and to learn more things about yourself, right? And see how far you can actually go. Yes, there are points where people push themselves too far to a breaking point, and those are healthy as well. But I'm just talking about trying new things, really asking yourself why you haven't gone after that thing that you talk about oh so often that you want to do, or you want to try, or you want to be proficient at, but you haven't even dabbled in it, not even a teeny tiny bit, right? So I would encourage you to really think about those questions, write them down, journal about them, reflect on them, whatever you need to do to really push yourself, to give yourself the honest answers, and actually take a little bit, teeny weeny bit of action after analyzing those questions with yourself. So, but also what would be really fun is that if you have someone like a friend or a spouse or a partner or a family member, or maybe even your counselor, if you're cool with that, ask them those questions, and then you guys can give your answers respectively, like what you say, what you would honestly say to yourself and what they would honestly say to themselves, and then compare, and then maybe create some sort of like support pact or group or ideas on how to support each other in actually moving forward and attempting some of those things to change your life and better yourself. So just think about it. But that's all I have to say about that for today, guys. Thank you so much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast. Again, my name is Sabrina. I hope that you really enjoyed it, and I hope that you are going to enjoy the next 4 other days of talking about the top 10 questions that you should ask yourself on the regular. Check the description box for notes for the show. They're going to be pretty brief this week. It's really just going to be the questions and then quick notes about those questions. Nothing super deep and elaborate, but it still could be nice to have those. Also in the description box is where you can find me on Instagram, which is at Sabrina Joy Perozzo or at Real Positive Girl Podcast. My email address for any questions, comments, concerns, prayer requests, feedback, topics, suggestions, just to say hi, whatever you want. But that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you coming back all the time. But until next time, have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.